Yo, welcome to Hard Pass. I am your host, Jacques Slade, and today on the show, we've got Nike's next pitch for Dot Swoosh, Shaquille O'Neal and Allen Iverson making big moves with Reebok, a message for Cleveland Brown fans because they showed up for the first time ever on this show, our pick of the week, and of course, we have our Hard Pass, which is, I think it's really great. All right, let's start with some hot takes. So, Cactus Plant Flea Market's Nike Flea 2, it dropped earlier this week, and as you might expect, it divided the sneaker world. But what had me rolling was their claymation video by Azad Abedikichi at AZXD, I think I said that right, on Instagram, promoting the release, looking like something you see at 2 a.m. on Adult Swim.
Good evening.
Can I get a psychic energy reading, please?
You have got to be more polite than that, my friend.
Can I have a psychic energy reading, please?
The show just started here. People already calling me foolishness here. Don't do this here. Bring.
How are you tonight?
Look, I told you, don't call here. Believe me when I tell you.
I don't know if I would ever wear the Flea 2. Apparently, I need to buy a size 9.5 or a size 13.5, depending on what I read online. But sign me up for more esoteric ads like this. We are desperately missing the days when Nike actually tried with their ads and didn't just copy-paste memes and trends online. Tracy McGrady is out here wearing Nikes and Jordans. File that under things I never thought I'd see, like Kyrie wearing Anta and Claymation LeBron James begging Claymation Anthony Davis for a 50 spot in the playoffs.
At the tone, please record your message.
Oh, I need you, big dog, boy. Look here. Boy, I need you bad, man. I need about 50, man. I've been out here, goddamn me, waiting to see what I come up with.
Sorry, I can't help it. They're so good. As you may have noticed if you've been watching our heat check videos over on the main Cousteau channel, plug, this past week was maybe the most packed we've seen that wasn't tied to an all-star weekend or a major holiday like Thanksgiving or Christmas or the day some of you get your tax refund checks. And despite that, brands still held out on us, revealing the release of the CPFM Flea 2 and the Adidas Impact Flex 2 Venom just days before release. Like Adidas. The only way you can make this up to us is by giving us Pat Mahomes wearing a size 19 of these trainers as a joke. Lean into the meme, y'all. It's the only way you're gonna get the internet to care. Lil Yachty. So he accidentally teased that he's got an Air Force One collab on the way. You know, he's holding an Air Force One and he says he just did a Force. So yeah, it's safe to assume if a sneaker is dropping, it's an Air Force One. But I would love for there to be a swerve with the Force, and it's actually something like the Nike Delta Force or a Sky Force or something out of left field, like a Billy Hoyle, David Robinson Command Force. That would be sick. Shout out to Sneaker News. They are out here doing the work of showing us the difference between the satin bred ones from 2016, that's limited to 501 pairs, by the way, and reselling for about $3,000, and the women's exclusive pair that is a little less exclusive. I'm sure there are details that are easy to spot out in person, but I'm less concerned about that and more worried about the inevitable viral video of someone stitching a serial number on the 2023 satin breads and pretending they have the 2016 pair. Like, you can picture this, right? It's a caption like, that feeling when you mistake your 2023 satin breads for your $3,000 2016 satin breads. And they wear them out and crease them, and then they realize there's a serial number and it becomes a sad video. Sad video. Or it's their girl that grabbed the 2016s instead of the 2023s and he's dying from watching her crease the sneaker. It's internet fodder. Anyway, Drake's son Adonis loves LaMelo Ball's Puma signature shoes, so much so that for his music video debut, My Man Freestyle, he wears the digital camo colorway of the MB-01 instead of, I don't know, kid-sized version of his dad's numerous collabs with Nike and Jordan brand. And hey, I get it. Let kids like what they like. Don't be one of those parents who force their kids to like the same things they like. But I just have this mental image of Marcus Jordan wearing Adidas KB8s when he was 6 or 7 years old, and then Michael Jordan sees it, and the first instance of that meme comes to life. I mean, it would explain why years later, Marcus went out of his way to defend his pops when Kobe won his 5th championship. Damn, I don't even remember that happening back then. Google does not forget your goofy tweets, kids. I'm just saying. All right, now, before we move on to the pick of the week, A big congratulations is in order for Shaquille O'Neal and Allen Iverson. It was announced late last week that the pair were taking on executive roles at the company, with O'Neal becoming the president of Reebok Basketball and Iverson coming on board as vice president. The new members of the Reebok C-suite will be in charge of reviving the dormant division that has failed to score a non-retro hit since Jadakiss was telling y'all to buy the A5s in the early 2000s. That was terrible. Anyway, a little harsh. Yes, but if Reebok basketball is going to rise to prominence once again, it's going to start at the grassroots level, where Iverson will lead the way in player recruitment and community-based initiatives. Meanwhile, Shaq will handle big picture duties like brand strategy and partnerships, starting with signing NCAA champion Angel Reese to a historic NIL deal. His on-screen character might waffle between being fun-loving and overly sensitive, depending on what Charles Barkley said last, but Corporate Shaq is a businessman, and he knows Angel Reese's star potential is big business for Reebok now and in the future. Hey, Jaylen Brown, you say you want to change the way sneaker deals work? Reebok might be in the market for someone with juice to team up with. Grabbing Jaylen on a 1 or 2 year rental where he wears juice branded questions and Shaqnosis while the lab is cooking up the new stuff could be the big splash that both parties need. Reebok gets another shiny name to attach themselves to right away alongside Angel Reese, and Brown gets to prove that he is a worthwhile short-term investment wherever he goes, and maybe hire someone who knows how to spell. All right, our pick of the week is the Nike KD3 Aunt Pearl. This is on the 27th. And no, you're not seeing things. This is a new colorway of the Nike KD3 Retro, and it's in a familiar theme. Nike and Kevin Durant began their homage to KD's late aunt on the Nike KD4, so now they are releasing an Aunt Pearl alongside various retros of the KD3. I would not be surprised to see the Nike KD 1 and 2 get Aunt Pearl colorways as well whenever Nike decides to retro those models too. Moving on. So a new Dragon Ball series is on the way called Dragon Ball Daima, and fans are confused. After years of fans clamoring for an animated continuation of Super, Daima appears to be a self-contained side story that takes place after Dragon Ball Z, but before Super, and might have more in common with the original Dragon Ball series from the 1980s than the Super Saiyan God Ultra Instinct with a 20 times multiplier thanks to Kaioken Technique Punch Fest that most people know and love. Personally, I'm indifferent to the news. I'm glad we're getting more Dragon Ball, and the fact that it's being run by series creator Akira Toriyama only means good things. But man, I need my super fix. I need to know what color hair Goku and Vegeta are going to push their limits to next. My vote is for purple, but now that Dragon Ball's resident himbo Broly is canon, I can totally see them making green the next big power level to train for. And before we move on to this week's Hard Pass, I have a message for all you Cleveland Brown fans who thought you would have your moment in the sun at my expense because your team beat my 5-time Super Bowl champion San Francisco 49ers. See, this is why I don't like talking about my football fandom that much. I'm used to the Lakers hate because it's more of a running gag at this point. But football? Way too sensitive of a topic, it seems. Anyway, this is what I said last week. I'm also not getting too excited about this Niners are the best team in football noise. I just want to get us through the rest of the season reasonably healthy to get back to the same point where we were last year, which was fresh off another win against the Cowboys in the playoffs and in the NFC Championship game. In other words, find someone else to talk trash to because I couldn't care less. I made a point to write that segment in a way so as to not to annoy or bother another NFL fan base because y'all care about this way more than I do. I didn't even know we were playing the Browns until the Saturday night before. I don't know who we play this week since we're recording this before the game. Hell, I'm not even sure we're playing this week. Are we on a bye? Who knows? I only care about Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel staying healthy. My concern is with Trent Williams leaving the stadium in a walking boot, not a game that we lost by a field goal. Of course we're going to lose a game, or 2, or 3, or 4 this season. We're not chasing an undefeated season, people. We're chasing a 6th Super Bowl. Big picture, man. I am single-minded about this. Nothing else matters. I am Don Draper in the elevator, and every other team is Ginsburg. I don't think about you at all, except when we beat the Cowboys, aka the Pete Campbell in this whole analogy, and when we lost to Baltimore and Kansas City in the Super Bowl. Now, those L's are real, just raw, emotional scars for me. Not a close regular season loss to a Cleveland team that has a top flight defense. If you want to hurt me, Cleveland, beat the Niners in the Super Bowl. That's the only way. This L, good job. I'm happy for you, yada, 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 and on to the next one. Whoever they are. I should probably look that up. Anyway, it's time for this week's Hard Pass, where we take a look at something in the culture that just needs to go, like Nike trying to make NFTs matter. Well, at least in its current iteration. On October 20th, Nike's Dot Swoosh platform released their first IRL sneaker, the Nike Air Force One Tonnage, or Tina J, which is short for This Is Not a JPEG. And we have it. Nike sent us the sneaker a week ago because they want to make this drop a big deal. They want the world to know that in the Dot Swoosh future, we will be firmly entrenched in their ecosystem and our digital and real world selves will be dropping in nothing but Nike product. And you know what? They might have a chance of pulling it off. Only if they scrap the whole concept and start over from scratch, because I don't think this is it. If you're not familiar with Dot Swoosh, let's just do a quick recap to get you caught up. So last year, Nike introduced Dot Swoosh to muted fanfare at best. NFTs and metaverses were already falling out of favor faster than people jumping off Colorado's bandwagon. And don't worry, Coach Prime, I still believe. Get Nike to retro your diamond turfs ASAP. But back to the story here. That was not going to stop Nike. Some tech media sites were declaring Dot Swoosh dead on arrival, while others were hopeful because if there's a brand out there that has the resources and true believers to make a metaverse not feel like a total waste of time, it's Nike. And for their part, Nike did the work. They held digital forums, in-person workshops with influencers with more Bored Apes than Skull Island. And the Dot Swoosh platform was relatively easy to navigate. Hell, out of curiosity, co-writer and I signed up during the launch of Dot Swoosh, and to this day, we still have our minted on the blockchain Dot Swoosh names, and you can give them a like or whatever it is you do on the blockchain. But anyway, that was the last time either one of us checked up on Dot Swoosh happenings. Since the launch, Dot Swoosh has been quietly chugging along, watching as 95% of NFTs became worthless, according to a Dap Gamble study via Forbes, an online platform that follows NFTs, crypto, and online gambling trends, which is kind of like saying they monitor, shoes, sneakers, and kicks. Anyway, a prime example of NFTs decline in the Forbes piece was the story of Justin Bieber buying a Bored Ape NFT in January 2022 for $1.3 million that is now worth $37,000 as of this past September. You heard that. 1.3 million to 37,000. That's a steep 97% drop. One of the reasons for the drop, besides the fact that you side-eyed anybody in the past 18 months who wanted to show you their JPEGs, was that there was an oversaturation of NFTs. Last year, it felt like anybody with a social media following above 10,000 was hawking an NFT collection, and anybody with less than 10,000 followers was calling you an idiot for not jumping on the bandwagon. I still remember the not so good old days of 2021 and 22 when bots and an occasional real life grifter in the comments were having imaginary conversations with themselves talking about how amazing NFTs were, even in episodes when I didn't talk about NFTs. The reality is that NFTs were just like trading cards and old unopened copies of the original Super Mario Brothers. There was an actual wave of dumb money for these collectibles, and the people who saw it as a fleeting moment sold at the peak or near it. And there were those who thought this was a forever thing that was just going to keep growing and growing because capitalism, and they're now left holding NFTs of washed athletes, porn stars, and former presidents that are worth jack. Shoes, sneakers, kicks. Right. So Dot Swoosh. Sorry, just had to establish how far things have fallen so we all have a base point. So earlier this year, Dot Swoosh released their Air Force One poster collection, a set of 4 digital posters that featured new and classic Air Force Ones. On April 18th, 106,453 of these posters were airdropped to 1 out of every 3 Dot Swoosh members. Neither I or co-writer received a poster, or if we did get one, maybe they took it back because we haven't opened our Dot Swoosh profile since we created ours last December. Those who did get the digital poster were given early access to purchase one Our Force One box a month later, a digital box worth $19.82 that contained a random digital sneaker. Those Dot Swoosh members who did not get a poster were placed in the general access pool later on, which, look, even in the utopian digital futures, guys, they're going to have haves and have-nots. I just find that super interesting. Anyway, if you did purchase an Our Force One box, you had a choice. You could keep the box and choose not to open it or reveal its contents. Here are some clips online that we suffered through just to see exactly what it was that people got in these boxes, which were digital versions of real-life Air Force Ones or digital remix versions of real-life Air Force Ones. According to Dot Swoosh, you also, quote, learn its unique features and unlock utilities in the coming months for special access to physical products and experiences, end quote. And one of those utilities was special access to purchase the Nike Air Force One Tonnage or Tina J. I still don't know how to say that. Yeah, you heard it correctly. Unbeknownst to us, when we received the Air Force One Tonnage, if you wanted to buy this sneaker on October 20th, you had to be a Dot Swoosh member, purchased a $19.82 Our Force One box, and opened said box. If you were just a Dot Swoosh member like myself and co-writer, you don't get access to the shoes. If you were a Dot Swoosh member who bought an Our Force One box but did not open it, you can't get the Tonnage. If you are a Dot Swoosh member who bought an Our Force One box but opened it after October 16th, you are out of luck too. So technically, the road to buying a pair of the Nike Air Force One Tina J or Tonnage started all the way back in December 2022. Yeah, that's a lot of hoops to jump and things to keep an eye out for just for a pair of asymmetrical Air Force Ones that were better executed in 2006 when they paid homage to the iconic Scarface poster. Just saying. But despite our criticism of the road to get there, let's actually take a look at the destination. This is what a GR Air Force One should feel like. Premium materials and top-notch craftsmanship. For so long, we've been saddled with Air Force Ones that have been a mixed bag. The Air Force One Tonnage needs to be the baseline, I would say, moving forward. Will it cost more? Yes. But in return, we get a sneaker that is worth preserving and taking care of. Nothing hurts a sneakerhead's soul more than cheaply made Air Force Ones being worn by you-know-whos that look like they went to both weekends of Coachella. Scuff them, crease them, walk through mud in them. Fine, but at least clean them after. Damn it. Sorry, I let my emotions get the best of me. It's just that dirty Air Force Ones they're a sensitive subject for me. Anyway, where was I? Right. These, the Tonnage Air Force Ones, should be the future, but they also need to look like the future too. These sneakers, while very well made, are not the future. They are a basic two-tone colorway that would be sitting right now in a Foot Locker if it wasn't a Dot Swoosh release. Nike needs to draw inspiration from the posters from their own collection and look at the things that worked. What about those sneakers made them classic? How can they leverage the next generation, some of whom might be Dot Swoosh members already, and create Air Force Ones that people want to buy? It's easier said than done, of course, but it's necessary for Dot Swoosh to live on. What I don't want to see is the next Off-White or the next Cactus Jack or the next Fragment design collab to be the centerpiece of a Dot Swoosh drop. That's a cheat code, Nike. Maybe years in the future, why not? But if Nike doesn't establish Dot Swoosh as the place where their next big thing comes from, it might as well not exist. And we know what the play is, Nike. Dot Swoosh is a way for you to filter out the bots and vultures and the resellers. Again, sneakers, shoes, and kicks. Is it foolproof? Maybe, maybe not. Life finds a way, and so do grifters who see an opportunity and don't live near a Memphis train station. But assuming that this is the best way to find out who the real Nike heads are there enough out there that are willing to play your games? Do you envision a future where everyday people log into Dot Swoosh, purchase digital goods, flaunt them in whatever Fortnite-style world you've created, and then sacrifice them at a later time for the right to buy IRL sneakers? Now, my thought is that might be fun for a gamer who enjoys Fortnite-style worlds to mess around with, But most people just want to walk into a store or log into the Nike app and buy the product that they want. If a year or two from now we're talking about exclusives on Dot Swoosh coexisting with sneakers app bullshit, instead of consolidating into one utopian platform, I feel like something has gone wrong. Oh, and don't think we forgot about you, Artifact. They recently forged their own real-life sneakers, but we won't be able to talk about them until June 2024. And guess who got a pair? That's right. It's your boy, Jock Slade. So look forward to that unboxing 8 months from now, I guess. It's either going to be fire and exactly what Dot Swoosh needs, or the last remnants of Nike's foray into the digital world before shutting it down like Nike Plus a decade ago. Shout out to the Fuel Band. Nike used to give those away with like every media package. I think I have some here somewhere in the studio to this day. Anyway, that's going to do it for the show. Thank you for watching. I am Jock Slade. I'll see you next week. Let's see. We've got the latest of our Sneaker Closet series over on Instagram, a few new sneaker series on the wall that you'll want to check out as well, and we've got the weekly heat check over on the main Cousteau channel for all your sneaker drop information. If you'd like to possibly be featured in a future episode, call us at 818-493-9325. Leave a short message, your socials if you want, no more than 30 seconds. All right, I'll see you next week. Peace. Actually, let me go find a Fuel Band. I've got one around here somewhere. See? Told you I had a Fuel Band around here. All right, we out. Peace.